Hello, all you beautiful people watching. This is Faceless Opinion, welcoming you back to another video. I have been wanting to do a video about the Dragon Ball Super manga's most recent arc for the longest time. And now, the Moro Arc, or the Galactic Prisoner Arc, whatever your preferred nomenclature is, has reached its conclusion. I think it's now time to review it. Where do I even begin with this? This arc was rough to get through. It was not good. I can easily say that this arc is trash. I have so many problems with it. I'm going to state this right here, right now, that there are going to be spoilers in this video. Spoiler warning. And they're going to be everywhere. So if you haven't read this arc and you really want to, add this video to your watch later list. Go read, catch up on the manga, then come back. I'm not going anywhere. For those who have read it, or those who don't really care to, all I gotta say is sit back and enjoy me ripping this thing to shreds. Now, before I do that, we have to talk about the things that I think were good about this arc. It's only fair. One thing I liked about this arc would have to be the beginning. I liked the setup it had, as well as the build up to the first encounter with Moro. There was a lot of mystery and suspense, and it really made you wonder what was going to happen. A lot of promise, I'll say. The next thing that I liked would be Jacko being used more. I know this is a weird one. When Jacko was first introduced in Resurrection F, I did not have any interest in him. I thought he was kind of a pointless character, one that really didn't need to exist. But as time went on, I actually began to like him. I know he's goofy and all, but I kind of like that about him, and I'm glad that the Super Elite got some relevancy. If I had to pick a favorite chapter, it would go to Chapter 64, without a doubt. When Goku went Mastered Ultra Instinct and beat the tar out of Moro, that was hands down the best moment. That fight was amazing. Enough said. Let us begin the critique. When this arc first began, I actually liked Moro. I thought he had a cool look and a unique premise, him being a magical goat man who eats planets. But as the story progresses, a phrase that you're going to hear often in this video, my initial liking of Moro eroded. He went from an enigmatic character full of promise to a great value brand version of Cell. Actually, no wait, I take that back. That is just insulting to great value. Moro is basically what Cell would look like in the super continuity, but getting rid of all the good things that made Cell, Cell. Now what went wrong with Moro? I think the biggest and most blatant thing would be all his transformations. I liked his first appearance, when he was the old goat man with the long beard. I felt like that should have been his only form. Although I am willing to admit I did like it when he became the planet. That was crazy and over the top, but I loved it. I wish they would have done more with Planet Moro. Those are the only forms I liked. I didn't like young Moro. Them turning him young kind of feel like they were ripping off Demon King Piccolo, or Lord Slug. And I hated it when Moro absorbed 7-3 and became Moro 7-3, stealing 7-3's ability of being able to copy the powers and techniques of whoever he touches. That was the exact moment when everyone started calling Moro a Cell knockoff. I think that has to be the biggest gripe people have with Moro, and I could end it there, but there are some things about him that I would like to mention as well, because if we were to remove the transformations altogether, I still think he would be a sucky villain. My first big complaint would be that we don't really know that much about Moro. All that we know about him is that he's millions of years old and that he goes around eating planets. What is his reason for doing that? I know that he wants to absorb the power from the worlds he consumes and adds it to his own, but why? Why does he need the power? I feel like Moro's motives are unclear. Compare him to other villains in Super like Frieza, or Goku Black, or Zamasu. We know what it is that they want and why they want it. Keep in mind, I'm not saying that has to be the most compelling of motivation. I think Zamasu had some weak inspiration, but we kinda understand it. I think Moro is evil for evil's sake. If the writers were to have spent some time and fleshed him out, I don't know, maybe show us something from his million years of life that made him into a planet eater, or his battle with the Grand Supreme Kai, or even his time in the Galactic Patrol prison, we may have a better understanding of how Moro ticks. My next complaint would have to revolve around his third wish. The wish to free all the inmates from the Galactic Patrol's prison and using them as his henchmen. When I found out that was what he used his wish for, I was ticked off. Months of waiting on what he could have gotten. It could have been anything, but that was what he chose. I also thought it was hypocritical too, since he killed that Frieza soldier, Cranberry I think his name was, that helped him escape from prison, told him about the Namekian Dragon Balls, and used one of the wishes to restore Moro's magical prowess. How does Moro repay him? By killing him, of course. So it's pretty apparent what type of person Moro is, but he chose to free all the prison inmates. It's nonsensical. If he were not to have killed Cranberry and then did his wish to free the inmates, I wouldn't think it would be that big of a deal, though I would still think it's odd. Enemies like Frieza, Cooler, Turles, Slug, Bojack, it makes sense that they would have some sort of underlings. Moro doesn't. He seems like the kind of villain who would work by themselves. To me, it kind of feels forced giving Moro lackeys. My last big grievance about Moro would be his magic. And when I say magic, put air quotes around it, because I don't consider Moro to be all that magical. Take for example, his main ability, being able to absorb energy. We have seen many characters with that ability before. Android 19, Dr. Gero, Super Android 17 in Dragon Ball GT, even that monster that Goku fought in the Buu arc. What was its name? Yukon Cornelius or some shit? So his energy absorption is not that big of a deal, though I will say his variation of it is both powerful and annoying. How about another power? His telekinesis. That's not original either. Frieza did it on Namek. Cell used it to build the Cell Games arena. Hell, even Chaozu can do it. Let that sink in. Chaozu has telekinetic abilities. What about the time when Moro gave energy to that one henchman guy? You know, the big one. Can't remember his name. He was always by Moro's side, acting like a second lieutenant. Made him super strong. Come on. There are dozens of examples of somebody giving energy to another. Goku gave Frieza energy on Namek. Frieza gave Goku energy during the Tournament of Power. Spirit bombs being used. So on and so on. What is the point of me bringing up all these examples of Moro's magic? If we're counting all of these powers listed as magic, then that means all the characters I just listed are wizards, just like Moro. And that doesn't sound right, since a good chunk of them are androids. Saying Moro has magic is kind of misleading. If anything, I would consider Majin Buu to be more magical than Moro. We have seen Buu being able to heal others, transmutation, duplication, shapeshifting, absorption. Like I said before, Moro is not magic. He's just a guy with OP abilities. Nothing else. During the course of this arc, we've had a lot of people get involved in the fight against Moro and his goons. We have the usual people, Gohan, Piccolo, and the rest of the Z fighters. Jacko and the Galactic Patrol played a huge part in the story too, though I don't really consider them that useful or important. Hell, we even had Android 17 and 18 make an appearance. Nice to know that they're being utilized more often. However, as the arc continued on, I do have to wonder. There are quite a few key characters missing that I'm surprised haven't been shown or mentioned at all. Take Frieza, for example. You would think with Moro and his miscreants traveling around the galaxy, they would have had some sort of encounter with Frieza or his army. At the end of the Tournament of Power, Frieza did get resurrected, so he should be out there somewhere. I just find it odd that Frieza would not get involved in some capacity. Moro is kind of stepping in his turf. A fight between the two would be pretty cool, even though Moro would probably end up winning. But I would still like to see that nonetheless. I'm also equally surprised that he didn't encounter Broly either. Although I do have to ask, does the Broly movie take place before Moro or after? I know that was mentioned in the manga right after the TOP ended, but I honestly have no idea. If somebody can tell me whether it does or not, I would appreciate it. If it does happen post-movie, then where is Broly? It wouldn't be far-fetched to think that one of Moro's scouts ended up on Vampa and had an encounter with Broly, Chilai, and Limo. I'm fairly sure that Moro would take an interest to investigate the planet. Then we get Moro versus Broly. And I think Broly could beat Moro. I think Broly's power output can overwhelm Moro's absorption. Now, if this arc takes place before the movie, this raises a question. Why didn't Goku use Ultra Instinct against him? During this arc, he learns how to tap into it. and I would find it really weird if he didn't use it against Broly. If he does, that means we wouldn't get Gogeta, and that would be a tragedy. The whole Broly thing is a mess, no matter what way you look at it. Remember earlier in this arc when Majin Buu was important and was getting some relevancy after being screwed over in both the Universe 6 tournament and TOP? The fight he had with Moro on Namek was a good one, especially when Buu was channeling the Grand Supreme Kai. It made it feel like Buu was finally gonna get treated right. Then he fell asleep. Again. And was gone until we saw him, or should I say the Grand Supreme Kai, alongside Oob, at the very end of the arc. Majin Buu can't get a break, can he? He has been wasted so many times, it makes me wonder, what was the point in keeping him around if you are literally not going to do anything with him? And this is coming from a guy who doesn't even like Buu. Buu deserves better. I also think the same thing goes for Goten and Trunks. Let's be real honest. When was the last time those two did anything meaningful? And no, I'm not counting the stupid copy Vegeta filler arc crap. I know that they wouldn't have been useful against Moro, but I feel like they could have at least helped pick off some goons, get some Gotenks action. But instead, they were relegated to watching over 17's nature reserve. I feel like the world being under siege by a planet-eating goat man is a little bit more important to deal with instead of some animals. I love Android 17, and I think it's dope that he's a park ranger, but come on! I mean, seriously, I'm fairly sure the animals will be fine for a couple minutes, so stop making Goten and Trunks babysitting and make them do something. What a waste. Dragon Ball Super is the Goku and Vegeta show. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. If you aren't a Saiyan, or don't have any sort of power that can rival a god, you are not worth a damn. It is a harsh truth that we all need to accept. Power creep has rendered the Z-Fighters inept. Now some of you guys might say that characters like Gohan and Piccolo might still have potential, that they can still have a good moment. I disagree, but I would be willing to have a conversation about it. My mind can be changed about them if a convincing argument is made. However, when it comes to the rest of the Z-Fighters, Krillin, Yamcha, Tien, Chaozu, Roshi, they are all completely worthless in Super. The Moro Arc does not do them any favors. I don't care that they're fighting against Moro's henchmen. It's a pointless action. So what if they win against some no-name grunts? It doesn't matter. Barring 7-3, all of the escaped prisoners are fodder. They're never going to lose to the likes of them. It's like in Resurrection F, when they were fighting against the Frieza Force. Did anyone expect, I don't know, Krillin to lose against Frieza Soldier number 26? No. If that were to have actually happened, Krillin would have turned into a joke. It would have damaged his reputation. If they fought against Tagoma, or that Red Bull guy, can't remember his name, not really important, and if they were to have beaten either of them, that would have given them some sort of credence. But that is not the case. Having the Z-Fighters relegated to crowd control, having them fight lackeys, does not do anything for them. It actually undermines their past accomplishments. Remember when Tien delayed Semi-Perfect Cell by hitting him with the Tri-Beam repeatedly, long enough for Android 16 and 18 to escape? That was badass. His best moment in the series. Fast forward to Super. He has a forgettable part in the Tournament of Power. Now before anyone mentions that the Z-Fighters helped out in the tournament, I'm going to stop you right there. No, they didn't. How long did they last? Who did they fight? The answer to that is not long, and I don't remember. Just retire them. They are no longer useful. I wish they were, but they aren't. This is the Goku and Vegeta show. Or should I say, the Goku show, after how Vegeta got treated in this arc. They did him so dirty. The way this arc started out, it made it look like Vegeta was going to be the one who beated Moro. He went to Yardrat to learn a technique, Force Spirit Fission, an ability that will render Moro's energy absorption moot. But what happened? Vegeta got shafted. Hard. No lube and completely against his will. That's how bad his shafting was. That panel of Vegeta in the trash can was an omen. Can we get an F in the chat for our boy Vegeta? I know he isn't dead, but after this, it has been made abundantly clear that Vegeta is never going to get the W, and that is disappointing. I do not like Maris. I didn't like him when he was first introduced, and as the arc progressed, it only solidified my dislike for him. We had the instance of him fighting Moro on Namek, and was holding his own while both Goku and Vegeta got whipped. Then we had the sparring match he had against Goku, where this Galactic Patrol nobody forced Goku to use Super Saiyan God in their match. What the fuck? That bowl cut bitch is a Mary Sue. That was the original thought I had when I first read that. Then a few chapters later, we get the reveal that Maris is an angel, and that made things even worse. He trained Goku how to use Ultra Instinct and would ultimately sacrifice his life. Some people really liked Maris and his character. I, on the other hand, was thrilled to watch him fade away. Now you may be wondering, damn Faceless, why do you hate Maris so much? There are two reasons why I don't like him. The first one is that he is an angel. It was stated that he was an angel in training. Now what exactly does that mean? Does that mean he's going to replace Whis or Vados or any other the angel attendants down the line? Or does that mean Zeno is going to create a new universe that will require deities to manage it? What is it that he's training for? The fact that it was never fully explained leaves me more baffled. I also take issue with the fact that Maris was the one who taught Goku how to use Ultra Instinct. I was under the pre-notion that he was in training, so how does he have access to so many of his angelic powers? In all honesty, I felt like it should have been Whis that was the one to do it. He was teaching Goku about God Ki, and was the one who alluded to Ultra Instinct being a thing. Not to mention, Whis was content when he saw Goku tap into that form during the Tournament of Power. Are you really trying to tell me that Whis would not be in the least bit interested in seeing that power being properly awakened? The second reason I don't like Maris would have to be that his sacrifice was hollow. To understand what I mean by that, we have to examine Maris' character leading up to his erasure. I consider Maris to be the reverse Zamasu, with him being overly fond of mortals and wanting to protect the universe. Thus is the reason as to why he was a part of Galactic Patrol. During his training session with Goku and the final battle with Moro, Maris' drive to help and protect the universe caused him to break angel law by using his full power to fight against Moro, which ultimately led to his erasure, with his dying wish to Goku being to protect the universe that he cherishes. Comparing this sacrifice to others throughout the series, it does not hold a candle. When you look at the others like Piccolo, Vegeta, and Android 16, especially Android 16, since that one is the most similar to the Maris one. When it comes to 16, he was originally created to destroy Goku. That was his mission, but during his time with Android 17 and 18, that slowly changed. He began to develop an interest in nature and the animals, mainly the birds. Then when Cell showed up, things changed when 17 and 18 were absorbed by him, and Cell threatened the Earth. He stepped up alongside the Z-Fighters at the Cell games, even putting aside his mission of killing Goku. Then, when Gohan was struggling against Cell, 16, who was just a severed head, told Gohan that he had to protect the world that he has grown to love before being destroyed by Cell, leading Gohan to awaken his power to defeat Cell. Android 16 was meant to be bad, but slowly transitioned into becoming good, which is why his death has weight behind it. While for Maris, he was a good guy who became gooder. Not really a word. Anyhow, his death does not have any real weight behind it, which makes his sacrifice fall flat. If I were to propose an alternative, it would be this. Instead of being fond of mortals, Maris is incredibly apathetic to them. During the beginning of the Moro Arc, Maris couldn't give a shit about Moro. If he ends up destroying a planet or two, who cares? He is a divine being. Mortals live and die all the time. But things would slowly change for Maris over time. The big catalyst would be his interactions with Goku. Then when it comes to the final fight, Maris chooses to sneak away from Beerus and Whis to help, which would lead to him being erased, thus giving his death the weight that it was lacking. I think if we had a dickish Maris learning the value of mortal life, that would be a lot more compelling than a goody-goody two-shoes Maris. Out of all the forms that came out of Dragon Ball Super, and there are a lot of them, Ultra Instinct is definitely one of the biggest standouts. And why wouldn't it be? It had an incredible debut and showing in the Tournament of Power, the best thing to come out of that arc in general. Don't even get me started on the memes that came out of it. They're great. I may not be thrilled about Goku taking the spotlight yet again, but goddamn, how he used Ultra Instinct in his fight against Moro was simply amazing. That is how you showcase divine power. Though, I am concerned about how Ultra Instinct is going to be used moving forward. This is an immensely powerful technique, or form, whatever you want to call it, especially now since Goku is able to access the form at will. That is why I don't really see anybody being able to challenge it. Do you really think Frieza is going to be a threat to Goku now? Nope, not going to happen. How about Broly? Not likely. Vegeta? Hate to break it to you, but the Prince will always play second fiddle to Goku. This arc has made that clear. So, what happens now? Because there's going to be another arc after this. Who is going to be the next big bad? The way I see it, the next villain has to be a god or a divine being of some sort. The way how Ultra Instinct is used, I don't see anybody without godly power holding a candle to it. Could we get Beerus as the antagonist? How about Champa, or another destroyer god? Zeno? His guards? El Grande Padre? Okay, that last one was a joke, but I'm not wrong. The writers kinda painted themselves into a corner with Ultra Instinct. It's either they nerf the form, or they have to make the next foe even more broken than Moro was, and that bastard was OP as hell. If this were the last arc in Dragon Ball Super, we would not have this conundrum. Unfortunately, that is not the case. We all know for a fact that this is nowhere close to ending. That is why, moving forward, I am greatly concerned about the future of Ultra Instinct. The Moro Arc, in my opinion, was not enjoyable. It was long and drawn out, riddled with questionable decisions, the biggest one being Goku giving Moro a senzu bean. Yeah, that actually happened, and that went as well as you'd think. The first third of this arc was good, then I don't know what happened with the rest. It's like the story deviated from the path and ended up somewhere else. There were 3 moments where I almost stopped reading altogether. The first was with Moro's third wish. The second was when Maris was confirmed to be an angel, and the third was when Vegeta got shafted. Bad writing aside, I think this arc's worst sin will be that it's unoriginal. The number of comparisons to the Cell Saga is uncanny. I love the Cell Saga. It is my favorite arc in the franchise, but that doesn't mean you can copy it beat by beat and give us a lazy retelling of it. This arc represents everything I hate about modern Dragon Ball. Is this the worst arc in the series? I don't know. There is some stiff competition. On a scale of 1 to 10, I give this a 5. Could things get better in the future? I can't say, because I won't be paying attention. I'm done. I will not be reading the manga any further. If the anime comes back, I won't be watching it. No movies, nothing. I have no interest in it. The super continuity is atrocious, and I want nothing to do with it anymore. My disappointment is beyond immeasurable. Now be sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. Leave me a comment and tell me what you think about the Moro Arc, or what you think might happen with the series now. Until next time, I will catch you all on the flip side.